Have you ever loved someone so much that you ignored all the red flags, only to realize later that the very woman you trusted wasn't what you thought she was? Before I dive deep into this, let me ask you, have you ever asked yourself why you keep falling for women who break your heart? Why you stay awake at night replaying the moments when she smiled, when she held your hand, when she promised forever and then left you shattered? If that sounds like your story, then listen closely, because today I'm not just giving you another random list. I'm going to tell you the 6 signs of stupid women, and not just what they are, but how they destroy your love life if you ignore them. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and most importantly, watch till the very end. Because trust me, if you understand these signs, it could completely change your love life. Now let's walk through this together as if it's your own story. Sign 1. She values drama more than peace. Let me ask you a personal question. Have you ever been in love with a woman who made you feel like you were walking on eggshells every single day? You loved her, you gave her everything, but no matter what you did, it felt like it was never enough. Think about it. Do you remember those late nights when you just wanted a calm, peaceful conversation, but instead she turned it into an argument? Maybe it was something small. You forgot to text her back while you were busy at work, or you didn't compliment her the exact way she expected. Suddenly, instead of love, there was shouting, silent treatment, or tears designed to make you feel guilty. Now pause for a second. Close your eyes and recall your happiest memory with her. The one moment that made you fall in love. Maybe it was the way she laughed at your silly jokes. Maybe it was the warmth of her hand in yours, or the way she looked at you as if you were her whole world. Hold that memory for a second, and then ask yourself, where did that peace go? Why did it all get replaced with endless drama? You see, my friend, a stupid woman values drama more than peace. For her, love isn't about harmony, it's about constant emotional chaos. She feeds on arguments because arguments make her feel important. They keep her at the center of your attention. If things are too calm, too peaceful, she gets restless. She'll pick a fight, accuse you of things you didn't do, or remind you of mistakes you made months ago just to stir up conflict. And you, because you love her, you play along. You argue back. You try to fix things. You say sorry just to stop the madness, but deep inside you're breaking. You're tired. You're losing yourself. Let me ask you, how many nights have you stared at the ceiling, wondering, why can't she just love me in peace? Why can't it be simple? How many times have you told yourself, maybe tomorrow will be different. Maybe tomorrow she won't fight me. And yet tomorrow came and the cycle repeated. This is where heartbreak begins. It's not just when she leaves you, it's when she takes away your peace and replaces it with pain, day after day until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. That's why breakups with women like this are so hard, because you're not just grieving her, you're grieving the peaceful love you never got to fully experience. So if you're sitting here, heartbroken, maybe even trying to forget the pain of your ex, ask yourself honestly, was she a woman of peace or a woman of drama? Did she heal your wounds or did she keep tearing them open? Because brother, real love doesn't demand constant war. Real love is calm. Real love feels safe. And if she couldn't give you that, then maybe losing her wasn't the end. It was the beginning of you finding the peace you've always deserved. Sign 2, she uses love as a weapon, not a gift. Have you ever loved someone so much that you were willing to give up anything just to see her smile? You gave her your time, your energy, your heart, and in return she gave you conditions. Think about it. Do you remember those moments when she said things like, if you really loved me, you'd do this for me? Or maybe, if you cared, you'd cancel your plans with your friends and stay with me. At first, you didn't see it as manipulation. You thought, maybe that's what love is, sacrifice. But here's the truth, brother. Love is not a weapon. Love is supposed to be a gift. Something you give freely, not something that's demanded from you like a price tag. Let me ask you, how many times did you find yourself changing who you were just to keep her happy? Maybe you stopped talking to certain friends. Maybe you skipped family gatherings because she didn't like them. Maybe you even gave up on your dreams, telling yourself it's okay, as long as she's with me. But deep down, didn't you feel the weight of it? Didn't you sometimes look in the mirror and ask, who am I becoming? That's because every time she made love conditional, she was stripping away a piece of you. Think about the pain after she left. That hollow feeling inside your chest. That question you couldn't shake. Why wasn't I enough? But the truth is, you were enough. You always were. The problem wasn't your love. It was how she used it. She turned your love into a tool, a bargaining chip, a way to control you. Now let me pull you back to a memory. Do you remember your happiest day with her? The laughter, the closeness, the way her eyes made you feel like the luckiest man alive? That was love at its purest. Free, unconditional, beautiful. But then compare it to the days when she withheld affection until you bent to her will. Which one do you think was real love and which one was control disguised as love? Brother, let me ask you something real. Have you ever begged for her attention? Have you ever done things against your own happiness just to win her approval? If yes, then know this, that wasn't love. That was manipulation. A stupid woman uses love as a weapon. She makes you earn what should already be yours. But a wise woman? She gives love as a gift. She says, I love you not because you do things for me, but because of who you are. And maybe that's why your heart is still heavy today. Still struggling to forget the pain of your ex-E, because part of you thought love should hurt. Love should cost you everything. But no, it should heal you, not break you. So if she used love as a weapon, then losing her wasn't a loss. It was freedom. And that freedom is the first step toward finding someone who knows. Love isn't meant to control. It's meant to complete. Sign 3, she never learns from mistakes. Let me ask you something. Straight from the heart, how many times? Did you forgive her? Once, twice, or maybe so many times that you lost count? Do you remember those nights after a fight? When she finally broke down and said, I'm sorry, I'll change. Please don't leave me. And because you loved her, you believed her. You wiped her tears, you hugged her, and deep inside you prayed. This time will be different. But was it ever really different? A stupid woman never learns from her mistakes. She repeats them like a broken record, expecting you to keep playing along. She'll break your trust, apologize, and then break it again. She'll disrespect your feelings, promise to do better, and then repeat the same cycle. And here's the painful part, you believed her every time. Not because you were blind, but because you loved her. You wanted so badly for the girl you fell in love with to still be there. Let me take you back. Think about the first time she hurt you. Maybe it was a lie. Maybe it was flirting with someone else. Maybe it was ignoring your feelings in front of her friends. Whatever it was, do you remember how badly it stung? That moment you realized she wasn't perfect, but then she came back with soft words, tears in her eyes, maybe even a hug that made your anger melt away. And you thought, she made a mistake, it happens, we all mess up. But then came the second time, the third, the fifth, until one day, you were sitting alone asking yourself, why do I keep forgiving someone who never actually changes? Brother, let me ask you right now, how many times have you let the same wound be reopened by the same person? How many times did you bury your own pain just to keep the relationship alive? This is the trap. Because love makes us hopeful, it convinces us that maybe tomorrow will be different. But here's the truth. Tomorrow isn't different if yesterday's mistakes keep repeating. A woman who refuses to grow, refuses to learn, refuses to honor her word, that's not a partner. That's a cycle of heartbreak waiting to repeat. And maybe that's why your heart feels so heavy today. Because after the breakup, you're not just grieving her. You're grieving the time you wasted, believing in changes that never came. But let me tell you something powerful. The pain of your ex, the heartbreak you're carrying, it's also your lesson. It teaches you that love isn't about endless forgiveness without growth. Real love requires effort, reflection, and maturity. So ask yourself this. Do you want to spend your life being someone's teacher, waiting for her to finally learn? Or do you want to be with someone who already knows how to value you? A stupid woman never learns from her mistakes. A wise woman makes mistakes, but she grows from them. And that difference, brother, could be the line between years of suffering and a lifetime of peace. Sign 4. She disrespects your pain. Let me ask you something that might cut deep. Have you ever trusted a woman enough to show her your real pain, only for her to use it against you? Think back for a moment. There was a night, you remember it clearly, when you opened your heart. Maybe it was about your past, a childhood wound, the struggles you hide from everyone else, or the scars left behind by your first breakup. For the first time, you weren't the strong, unshakable man. You were vulnerable. You showed her the side of you that nobody else gets to see. And what did she do with it? Did she hold you close and say, I'm here for you? Or did she roll her eyes, laugh, or worse, throw your pain back in your face during the next fight? That, brother, is the mark of a stupid woman. Because love isn't just about sharing joy, it's about honoring each others' wounds. And when she disrespects your pain, she disrespects your soul. Do you remember how that felt? That deep sting when she mocked the very thing that broke you? You thought opening up would bring you closer, but instead, it made you feel smaller, weaker, almost ashamed for trusting her with your truth. And yet because you loved her, you stayed. You told yourself, maybe she didn't mean it. You convinced yourself, next time she'll understand me better. But next time came, and she still didn't care. Now let me ask you honestly, how many times did you swallow your emotions, hiding your pain because you were afraid she'd use it against you? How many times did you act strong when inside you were breaking, just so she wouldn't belittle your feelings? That's not love. That's loneliness disguised as a relationship. Brother, I know right now you might be remembering your ex. You might be asking yourself, why did I let her disrespect me like that? Why did I think her love was enough when she couldn't even respect my pain? The truth is, heartbreak doesn't only come when she leaves. Sometimes heartbreak begins the moment she proves she doesn't value the deepest parts of you. But let me flip this for you. The very pain she mocked is the reason you'll rise stronger. Because one day, you'll meet a woman who sees your scars not as weakness, but as proof of your strength. One day you'll share your story and instead of laughter, but let me tell you something powerful. The pain of your ex, the heartbreak you're carrying, it's also your lesson. It teaches you that love isn't about endless forgiveness without growth. Real love requires effort, reflection, and maturity. So ask yourself this: do you want to spend your life being someone's teacher, waiting for her to finally learn? Or do you want to be with someone who already knows how to value you? A stupid woman never learns from her mistakes. A wise woman makes mistakes, but she grows from them. And that difference, brother, could be the line between years of suffering and a lifetime of peace. Sign 4. She disrespects your pain. Let me ask you something that might cut deep. Have you ever trusted a woman enough to show her your real pain, only for her to use it against you? Think back for a moment. There was a night, you remember it clearly, when you opened your heart. Maybe it was about your past, a childhood wound, the struggles you hide from everyone else, or the scars left behind by your first breakup. For the first time, you weren't the strong, unshakable man. You were vulnerable. You showed her the side of you that nobody else gets to see. And what did she do with it? Did she hold you close and say, "I'm here for you"? Or did she roll her eyes, laugh, or worse, throw your pain back in your face during the next fight? That, brother, is the mark of a stupid woman. Because love isn't just about sharing joy, it's about honoring each other's wounds. And when she disrespects your pain, she disrespects your soul. Do you remember how that felt? That deep sting when she mocked the very thing that broke you? You thought opening up would bring you closer, but instead, it made you feel smaller, weaker, almost ashamed for trusting her with your truth. And yet because you loved her, you stayed. You told yourself, maybe she didn't mean it. You convinced yourself, next time she'll understand me better. But next time came, and she still didn't care. Now let me ask you honestly, how many times did you swallow your emotions, hiding your pain because you were afraid she'd use it against you? How many times did you act strong when inside you were breaking, just so she wouldn't belittle your feelings? That's not love. That's loneliness disguised as a relationship. Brother, I know right now you might be remembering your ex. You might be asking yourself, why did I let her disrespect me like that? Why did I think her love was enough when she couldn't even respect my pain? The truth is, heartbreak doesn't only come when she leaves. Sometimes heartbreak begins the moment she proves she doesn't value the deepest parts of you. But let me flip this for you. The very pain she mocked is the reason you'll rise stronger. Because one day, you'll meet a woman who sees your scars not as weakness, but as proof of your strength. One day you'll share your story and instead of laughter, you'll see tears in her eyes and feel her arms wrap around you with real care. So if your ex disrespected your pain, don't hate yourself for giving her your trust. Be proud that you had the courage to be real. And let that pain remind you never to settle again. A stupid woman mocks your wounds. A wise woman helps heal them. And you, my friend, deserve the kind of love that brings peace to your scars, not the kind that deepens them. Sign 5, she lives only for appearances. Let me ask you something personal. Did you ever feel like you were just a side character in her life, while the main story she cared about was how perfect everything looked to the outside world? Think back. Do you remember how, in the beginning, you thought her obsession with photos, with likes, with attention, it was cute? You took her pictures, You smiled for her selfies. You even adjusted your life a little just so she could show off a perfect relationship. At first it felt harmless. You told yourself, this is just how things are nowadays. But slowly, didn't you start to notice something? That her focus wasn't really on you or on the love you were building together. It was on how others saw her. She wanted the world to think she was happy even if you weren't. Brother, let me ask you, do you remember that day when you were hurting? Maybe after a fight, and she still forced you to smile for a picture because she wanted to post it online? That's not love. That's image. A stupid woman lives only for appearances. She's more concerned about likes on Instagram than the love in your heart. She'll spend hours fixing her makeup for strangers, but not 1 minute fixing the pain between you two. She'll value the comments of people she doesn't even know, while ignoring the tears in your eyes, the ones only you showed her. Do you remember how small you felt? Like your relationship wasn't real unless it looked good to the crowd. Like her happiness wasn't about you, but about validation from people who didn't even care. And maybe right now, thinking about your ex, you're realizing how many times you tried to tell yourself, it's okay, this is just her personality. But deep down, didn't it hurt that she cared more about the world's opinion than your love? This is the pain that lingers after a breakup. Because you don't just miss her, you miss the version of her you thought was real. You miss the private moments that felt pure, before they were turned into content. You miss the girl who once looked at you with genuine love, before the filter, before the pose, before the likes. Let me ask you honestly, do you want a woman who builds a fake life for strangers, or a woman who builds a real life with you? Because appearances fade. The makeup, the pictures, the validation, it all disappears. But love, when it's real, only grows stronger. A stupid woman lives for the crowd. A wise woman lives for you. And brother, if your ex was obsessed with appearances, then losing her wasn't the end. It was the beginning of you finally finding someone who values love over likes, truth over filters, and your heart over her audience. Sign 6, she doesn't know the value of loyalty. Have you ever been in love with someone who said all the right words, but when it came to actions, they betrayed you? Maybe she said, you're my everything, I'll never hurt you. But then she kept entertaining other guys behind your back. Or maybe she wasn't physically unfaithful, but emotionally, she kept giving attention, energy, and validation to people who had no place in your relationship. Tell me honestly, has that ever happened to you? Because if it has, you know that sting in your chest, that moment where your heart sinks and you think, am I not enough? Let's make this real. Picture this, you're at home, waiting for her text, waiting for her voice, because she's your world. But instead, she's busy replying to some other guy's jokes, laughing at his messages, or even worse, going out and hiding it from you. You find out, and when you confront her, what does she say? You're overreacting. Or, it's not a big deal. But deep inside, you know it is a big deal, because loyalty is not just about not cheating. It's about respect. It's about choosing each other every single day, even when temptation is knocking. Now let me ask you, why does it hurt so much when someone isn't loyal? Because loyalty is love's foundation. Without it, love is like a house built on sand. It looks good for a while, but the moment life's storms hit, everything collapses. And maybe that's what happened in your story. Maybe you gave her your all, but she couldn't even give you the bare minimum, loyalty. And here's the painful truth. You can forgive mistakes, you can move past arguments, but once loyalty is broken, a piece of your soul gets scarred. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Loyalty is simple. It's either you stand firm or you betray. There's no in-between. So if you're sitting here right now, remembering those nights when you cried yourself to sleep, wondering why she couldn't just choose you the way you chose her, listen to me. That pain you carry, that heartbreak you're still trying to forget, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't because you weren't enough. It was because she didn't know the value of loyalty. But let me leave you with this thought. Your loyalty is a gift. Don't hand it to someone who treats it like it's disposable. The right woman will see it, treasure it, and guard it with her own loyalty in return. Until then, remember, you're not losing her, she's losing you. So tell me, have you ever given loyalty to someone who didn't deserve it? And how did you find the strength to move on from that heartbreak? Conclusion. So my friend, let me ask you, have you seen these signs before in your own story? Have you felt the sting of drama, manipulation, betrayal, disrespect, and fake love? If you have, then maybe it's time to stop calling it love Because love doesn't destroy, love heals. And the sooner you recognize these 6 signs of stupid women, the sooner you can protect your heart from the pain you don't deserve. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.